stories of Prince Pulun. So here's an intro and backstory about Pulun. He was the nephew of the Emperor of China at that time, so he was second in line of the succession of the Qing dynasty throne. So for the 1904 World's Fair in St. Louis, China was invited to have an exhibit there. So Pulun and his crew came over to China, and they were invited to be part of the Chinese section of the fair. They stayed at the Chinese Pavilion, which was modeled after the Summer Palace in China where they lived. On June 3rd, 1903, it was 10 months before the fair, and China had sent out planners and builders to St. Louis to start building. Wang Kai-ka, who was Pulun's main assistant, and 36 other people came over to start building. And it was China's first time having an exhibit in a World's Fair, so they set aside lots of money to make sure the exhibit looked really good. They set aside $300,000 to $400,000, which is about $4 million-ish in today's money for their exhibit. During January and February in 1904, it was 5 months before the fair. At this time, all of the plans were finished, and most of the exhibit was built, and the images were posted in the newspaper. The Chinese pavilion would have Chinese war gods, Chinese dancers, a Chinese pagoda, and a Pai Fang gate that led to the Chinese palace. The prince's full dress was estimated to be about $10,000, which is $63,000 in today's money. The prince would arrive in early June, and he and his crew would stay at Washington Hotel for about 6 weeks. And at Washington Hotel, they had a suite of 10 rooms at the hotel. Here are some images of some of the statues and things that were at the exhibit. And this is an image of the front side of the Chinese pavilion. So on the very left, you can see the Chinese pagoda, and in the middle, that is the Pai Fang. And on either side of the pagoda, there were 2 fish ponds, and in the back of both of those two were the main pavilion and 2 other Chinese buildings. Many stories can be found about Pulun online, but my presentation will be about the untold stories of Pulun. So without further ado, let's begin. When Pulun was in St. Louis, he had 3 main personalities, or personas. The first one was Music Prince, the second one was Shopping Spree Prince, and the third one was Party Prince. Music Prince. So this story is about Prince Pulun enjoying ragtime music. So the Pulun was at a Chinese recital, and he was listening to this piano player for 3 hours straight. But before the concert started, the piano guy needed to fix his piano, so the prince got down on his own knees and fixed the piano with a screwdriver, which was like, oh my gosh, a prince is doing that, that's crazy. The piano guy was super thankful towards Pulun, and he wrote a song for him called the Pulun Triumphal March. Afterwards, Pu complimented the piano player, and it turns out the piano player was playing a slave song, and Pulun liked it. The second story is about a harpist and singer who charmed Prince Pulun at a reception. So Pulun was at a reception, and he was listening to this amazing harpist and singer, and he told them to repeatedly play these songs over and over again. The singer was already a principal singer, but the harpist was a Filipino harpist that came over to the US for the 1904 World's Fair, and she was part of the Filipino exhibit, and she was actually only 15 years old. And Pulun really liked these 2 people. Second Prince personality, Shopping Spree Prince. So during his time in St. Louis, Pulun was, just shopping around, walking around, and he saw this really amazing flower clock, and he said he thought that it was so pretty and it was really worthy of a spot in his summer palace in China. So I'm assuming he bought it, and that image is probably what the clock looks like. Another story which I found was really interesting was that Fu Lun bought a piano, but not only did he buy a piano, he also bought a piano player to send back to China. So he bought this star piano, and the star piano is a type of piano brand. But he said the star piano is the queen of pianos and a truly the masterpiece of the mechanism. Its notes are highly musical, and its tone is exquisitely sweet and sonorous. It is the embodiment of all that is lofty, rhythmic, and harmonious in music, and is the highest exponent of melody in this age of culture. He also bought a piano player, which I thought was kind of weird, but whatever. Third personality is Party Prince. Fu Lun was really good at hosting parties, and in this reception, he threw a super amazing reception, and more than 1,400 people came. The entire floor of the hotel he hosted it at was decorated with foreign Chinese decorations and uniforms. There were multicolored flags, flashing lights, sparkling jewels, and glitter decorations. Sounds really fun. I kind of like to go. This is like a very cool and dramatic story. So, Fu Lun and some other lady were hosting two separate parties. And so many people came to Fu Lun's party that the lady had to cancel her party since there weren't enough people at her party, or there weren't enough men at her party, so it wouldn't meet the social sanctum. So, yeah, in conclusion, Fu Lun is a pretty cool prince. And now you know some fun facts about his time in St. Louis. Also, this is the hotel that Fu Lun stayed at. Oh wait, this is not it. But this is the hotel that Fu Lun stayed at. Currently it is an apartment complex called Washington Apartments. And it's at 600 Kings Highway Boulevard. And I think we should take a field trip there. That's the end.